I look like a bloody remnant of 2013 punk. I like it. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite wall-crawling webhead, Spider-Man. I wanted to get this video up before Marvel or Sony confirms anything about Spider-Man 3, apart from the fact that it's happening. For some reason, right? It has something to do with just wishful thinking and something that happened a couple years ago. But we got this covered. Screen Rant, Comic Book Resources, IGN, and Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter, none of whom work for Marvel or Sony, by the way, have confirmed that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Kirsten Dunst, Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, James Franco, Jamie Foxx, Dane DeHaan, and Thomas Hayden Church will be reprising their roles as, their respective Spider-Man characters from their previous Spider-Man franchises for this upcoming third MCU Spider-Man movie. Now, the only plausible way for that to happen would be is if this Spider-Man movie was a multiverse Spider-Man movie, Spider-Verse type thing. Here's the thing about that, though. A good half of those characters that I just named, or those actors that I just named, play characters that died, right? And so it's like, well, alternate universe version of the character, right? If that's the case, why does the alternate version of Dr. Octopus still look like Alfred Molina, but there's a Peter Parker that looks like Tom Holland, a Peter Parker that looks like Tobey Maguire, and a Peter Parker that looks like Andrew Garfield? None of that really makes any sense. Might as well just go ahead and say Bryce Dallas Howard's coming back, and so is Bruce Campbell. And you know what's funny is, out of all those characters, we haven't, or at least I haven't seen anything about Michael Keaton, who played Vulture, who's still alive, or Bokeem Woodbine, who played Shocker, who's still alive, or Homeboy that played the Tinkerer, or the Scorpion. Well, he's not the Scorpion yet, he's Matt Gargan, but or Jake Gyllenhaal. We're pretty sure that Mysterio didn't die, so can I get something about him? That would be nice. But, oh boy. All right. I'm not here to just doo-doo on your dreams. If you're excited about the concept of a live-action Spider-Verse, that's totally fine. What I'm talking about is the people that are so convinced that it's happening that they won't accept anything else. And they're going to be very upset. They're probably going to call for a boycott of the film when it turns out to not be true. As well as these people that hate the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man so much that they want to see his movie get hijacked so that a mediocre and a subpar interpretation of the character can get their time in the sunlight back. How dare you, right? I get it. But the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies aren't that good in retrospect. They don't hold up. Internally, the logic is flawed, especially in the second movie. I don't really feel like going into all of that stuff right now. And I mean, I've never seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't like the first movie, so I didn't see the point in watching the sequel to a movie that I did not enjoy. Crucify me, I guess. But Tom Holland may be my favorite interpretation of the character, but that doesn't influence my thought process here. Sure, I would like for him to finish out his trilogy on his own without needing help from other Spider-Men, but even that live-action Spider-Verse concept doesn't make any sense, right? Because they want the multiverse concept that Doctor Strange is going to be exploring in the sequel to be presented to us in Spider-Man. If the multiverse is at risk, what's a couple of Spider-Men going to do? You know what I mean? And you could say, well, what about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse? I don't know why I did like a flamboyant Trump voice. That wasn't my intention. My intention was, oh, what about the animated Spider-Verse movie, right? The multiverse wasn't at risk. Brooklyn was, first of all. Second of all, they tailored the situation in such a way that it's just a machine that a Spider-Man can destroy. Well, why can't they do that in the live-action one? Because if you're talking about like a Doctor Strange level multiverse, which we know that Doctor Strange... Do we know? It's been said that Doctor Strange is going to appear in this movie and that that's the Avenger that Spider-Man is going to be working with. I also find it very interesting that people are saying that's the Avenger. What Avenger did he work with in Far From Home? Point is, if Doctor Strange is in this movie, then we're talking a Doctor Strange level multiverse threat, right? Not just a Hadron Collider that Spider-Man can destroy. So what are 3 Spider-Men going to do? Doctor Strange seems like he's a lot more equipped to deal with multiverse level threats than Peter Parker. And this doesn't make any sense to me, right? And logistically speaking, on a legal level, Marvel does not have access to previous versions of Spider-Man. They can't make those decisions, right? Only Sony can. But Sony are the ones that screwed over Tobey Maguire, and they're the ones that screwed over Andrew Garfield. We have to remember that Sony Pictures is not exactly the best studio to work with. They do things that I don't like. By the way, when I become a filmmaker, Sony, if you saw that part of the video, I totally didn't mean it. It totally tongue-in-cheek. I love you guys, Sony. Please greenlight one of my movies someday. Anyway, okay. My favorite aspect of this is apparently Jamie Foxx posted a picture of Electro on his Instagram that has since been deleted. I never saw it. And it's very easy to post a picture on the internet and say, this person posted this to their Instagram and then deleted it. If it was gone so fast that nobody in the rest of the world got a chance to see it, how'd you see it? Do you have the Speed Force? Because if so, did the lightning strike hurt? Because I want to know what I'm getting myself into if I'm going to get struck by lightning. Point is, this has gone from like wishful thinking to like mind-blowing levels of mental gymnastics to make this happen. Because I saw this picture and it was posted saying this was Tobey Maguire getting out of his, or no, this is Tobey Maguire showing up at a costume fitting in Atlanta. He's just getting out of a car. Like, what? Well, he's just like, and I suppose that you think that this picture of him carrying his groceries is him holding the catering for the movie. What? Like, he's just doing normal, everyday, grown folk stuff. And Spider-Man. And if that's the case, then how come we haven't seen anything about Andrew at a costume fitting? I doubt they still have his costume from the last movie. And I think it's interesting that Marvel has made 2 sets of big announcements since all of these rumors started coming out. There was the Disney thing where like all the Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm stuff got announced, where we found out about like the Star Wars Vision series, and we found out about the Buzz Lightyear series. We found out about I'm totally blanking on like Marvel related stuff. Oh yeah, there was stuff about like She-Hulk and Moon Knight and stuff like that. There was a lot of stuff that was said about Marvel by Kevin Feige. None of it had anything to do with Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire. And then most recently, they have said some stuff about the Disney Plus stuff and like how all of that's going to go. Nothing about Spider-Man at all. And another step forward, it's been confirmed that Tatiana Maslany, I don't know how to say her name actually, is going to be appearing as She-Hulk, and Charlie Cox is going to be appearing as Daredevil to have a legal battle aspect of the movie. Because Matt Murdock, as you guys might know, is a defense attorney, and Jennifer Walters, also known as She-Hulk, is a prosecutor. Now that makes sense on a basic level, because at the end of the last movie, it becomes pretty clear that Peter's probably going to be like a bit of a fugitive in this next movie. He's going to have to try to clear his name. I don't see the likelihood, because Peter doesn't have a lot of money, so it's not like he's going to be able to afford his own lawyer. I don't see the likelihood of the city appointing him Matt Murdock as a defense attorney, and I also don't see Jennifer Walters taking the case against a 16-year-old kid. Like, I just don't see her being interested in that sort of thing. Also, again, legally, the rights to Daredevil did not return to Marvel until recently. Like last month, like 3 weeks ago, something like that, right? But these rumors of Daredevil being confirmed to appear in the Spider-Man movie reach way back, right? According to Tom, when he posted this picture, where he's got the Spider-Man mask on, and a video that he posted to his Twitter, he's been shooting Spider-Man 3 since like October. That would mean they're damn near done, right? These movies typically have like a 90-day shoot type of situation, so I don't see the production going on much longer. And they would have been 2/3 of the way done by the time Marvel actually got the rights to Daredevil. So to get Daredevil into this script, they would have to rework everything, every single thing, just to fit this into the movie that wouldn't even make any sense in the first place. Would I love to see Daredevil and Spider-Man on screen together? Absolutely. They have a very rich comic book history together. But that doesn't matter that much. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to boycott Spider-Man 3 because Matt Murdock's most likely not going to be in it. Now, on the topic of the whole fugitive plotline that's probably going to take up most of Spider-Man 3, why would they drop that in favor of a Spider-Verse thing? This is actually really interesting. Characters getting framed for crimes is always interesting. The trial of the Flash in the Flash comics, not the Flash TV show. That was terrible. I'm completely blanking on when Matt Murdock was on trial for being Daredevil, and Peter Parker had to show up as Daredevil to bail him out of that situation. That was pretty cool. But like, characters being on trial is really cool stuff. I don't really see him going to trial. I don't think there's going to be enough concrete evidence to really say that he needs to be tried like that. Like, I don't see the order part of the Law and Order thing happening. But the point is, this is a very interesting plot point that they've set up for this movie. I really don't think John Watts is as much of a hack fraud as you guys seem to think he is out there. They hate Far From Home and Homecoming, and think that they're just going to completely abandon that golden plot line for something that really doesn't make any sense and would only be fan service. Now, I mentioned mental gymnastics earlier. You know what my favorite thing is that I've seen so far? Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man is rumored to die at the end of the movie, and that in real life, Tobey is being a diva and wants to be paid more. Y'all could just make whatever up. You know what? No, my turn. Oh, no. They said also that Tom has not enjoyed working with Tobey. But here's what I'm going to make up. Zendaya got into a fist fight with Kirsten Dunst because there could only be one MJ in the movie. And people would eat it up because they want to believe this so bad that they'll buy anything. Literally, Tobey, Amy, Avi, Kevin, Tom, Andrew, nobody has said anything about this stuff at all. And you know Tom Holland can't keep a secret to save his career. So if this was happening, he would have said something by now, by complete accident. Would a live-action Spider-Verse be cool? In theory. It would have to be executed very well. Because when I was watching the animated movie, I was like, this has to be animated. If it's going to be a movie like this, they can't do it in live action. The thing is, Spider-Man's stakes need to be low in order for you to remain attached to what's going on. If Spider-Man himself had to save the universe, if Spider-Man by himself had to defeat Thanos in Infinity War, it might not have been nearly as interesting. You might have mentally checked out because what you're seeing is just so ridiculous. But when Spider-Man has to save a plane or his friends from a homicidal maniac or something like that, those types of stakes are perfect. What I don't like is when he has to stop the lizard from turning everybody in New York into lizards. Because that's stupid. That's just stupid. That's really dumb. And even Spider-Man 2 was stretching it a little bit because that sun was apparently going to destroy the world. But they drowned it, so it's fine, I guess. You know there's no such thing as underwater magnets. Anyway, I say everything that I have said today to say this. If you don't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, that's totally fine. But to hate them on such a level that you don't even want to let him finish his own trilogy without it getting hijacked. Because another thing, people have been complaining that the MCU version of Spider-Man relies too much on other heroes. How is him relying on other Spider-Men any better? Like, I don't see the true difference. You know? I get what the actual difference is. You like the old stuff, so you want to see it back. So you're totally willing to be a hypocrite about your own argument as to why the movies that currently exist are bad. But it's just, on a logical level, none of that stuff makes any sense. So, in summation, Spider-Man 3 is probably going to be cool, but it's not going to be what you think it is. And there are many, many reasons as to why. Just because Marvel shook hands with Sam Raimi and got him on board to do Doctor Strange, that's what all stems from. Sam Raimi is doing Doctor Strange too, and that's where all this came from. Damn, that's actually really interesting. Anyway, I think I've prattled on long enough. I'll see you soon.